Set fire to my
Blazing hot.
What's up, people? It's again your boy, M-Day the Blacksmith, aka the Beast, to some of y'all Sam, also known as DJFU. I'm doing another blog about being a black man in China. Being a black man in Asia comes with its trials and tribulations, perks, and the opposite, whatever the opposite of a perk is. I don't know. My mind's that's one thing with living here for so long. You forget certain English words. You know what you want to say, but then you forget, well, what's that word? Anyway, one of my favorite things to talk about, well, not favorite, but one thing that I've been reminded of because of how hard it is to find hair products for black people here. It reminds me of when I first got to China. One of the first things that I learned how to say, or at least recognize in the Chinese language, is people ask me if my hair is real or not. And basically they're asking me if my hair is real. Because it's funny, here in China, the women, they have their version of hair weave, which is not like in the US. Basically, they take the fake hair and they bundle it at the end in like rubber bands, and then they have the weave like that rather than have it like they do in the US. Anyway, and so there was a point in time where I couldn't go outside without at least one person asking me this question, because dreadlocks, I mean, people think my hair is fake, like to this day. Actually this morning when I was walking my dog, someone asked me, these two old ladies, they weren't asking me, I can hear them talking behind me, and one of them said, oh, no, that hair's fake. It's real. No, it's real. No, it's fake. And I just turned around and corrected them and said, my hair is real. And they were kind of surprised, like, oh, he understood us. But yeah, that's one thing that I get for being a black man with long hair is your hair real? Which is funny to me because, in the West, that's not something you would think to ask a man, because mainly it's women who wear fake hair, if they wear fake hair at all. And so that's just funny to me. Other things that are a struggle to deal with are misconceptions and stereotypes, which I blame on Hollywood, because most of the things the misconceptions or the stereotypes, whatever they get about black people, how they think about black people, especially black people from the US, from movies. And here, there's not a lot of black Hollywood they get here. Most of the movies, well, first of all, in China, when they get foreign movies, they only import to show in theaters a certain amount of movies from foreign films every year. Only a certain amount make it. So you get your big blockbusters, your Marvels, your Star Wars, and you get a few other ones that make it. Other ones you can find if you go to a DVD store. Yeah, they still make those. Or you go online, but if you don't know to look for it, a lot of Chinese don't know, and so in a lot of the movies they get are pretty much the gangster movies, or the movies where the black people are drug dealers, users, thugs, gangsters. And there's a few movies, that are not like that, but for the majority of the time, that's what they think of black people, or all black people, like the NBA. Because NBA is popular over here. NBA, like when Kobe passed, rest in peace, people, like Chinese people, were sad over here, man. There are actually people, there's they have businesses named after Kobe. They have his numbers 6 and 24, or was it 8 and 24? I'm not a big basketball fan, but yeah, I think his numbers were 8 and 24. There's people that opened a barbershop I did a show at, and well, I didn't do the show at the barbershop. It was in the area where the barbershop was. Anyway, NBA is very big here, and so when some people meet me, especially young teenage boys or from in their 20s, teenagers, 20-year-olds, you know, when they first meet me, they'll ask me, "Oh, do you like the NBA?" And then they kind of, and I'm like, "It's okay. I like American football." And they kind of look like, "Oh," like they're disappointed. Another stereotype is all black people can dance, which I know for a fact isn't true. I mean, I can dance, but I can't speak for everyone else. And you know, there's a lot of people that still don't realize that black people are from the U.S. A lot of people automatically assume that black people, all black people are from Africa, and I have no problem with you assuming that, because I have a lot of African friends here. I love them. They're my brothers and sisters. They're cool. But I am from the U.S., and so a lot of times when I say that, people are surprised. I've even had reactions where people are like, "But there are no black people in the U.S." And I have to say, "You've heard of Obama, right?" And like, oh. Or I'll say, "You watch the NBA," and they're like, "Yeah." And they realize, it clicks that, oh, those are a lot of black people. And I'm like, they're not all, there are some of those people from Africa. Not all of those black people are from Africa. Most of those are from the U.S. And, it's little things that you have to, make people think, because they don't really think about that. If you have friends here, they know better. But there's a lot of Chinese people who live in rural areas or come from rural areas. And no matter how good their education is, if they've never met a foreigner, that's not something that's on their mind. So they meet someone from England or is black, or from France, or from any other country that's not inside of Africa, it kind of throws them off. And then they kind of, when I say I'm from the U.S., I get a lot of, "Oh, really?" So yeah, up until a few years ago, back to the hair, I didn't have any black hair products, skincare products that I could use for me. Even with deodorant, the deodorant they use for men is not really conducive for me. It's not strong enough. So I usually have to order, deodorant online. And actually for men here, they mostly just have roll-on antiperspirant. As far as the hair products and skin products, I have a friend who opened he's from Africa, and a couple years ago, he opened an Africa shop. And it has shea butter, cocoa butter, stuff for your hair, which I was very happy for, because up until a couple years ago, my hair would break off at the ends every once in a while. That's why my hair, it's long, but it would be a lot longer. And so a couple years ago, when he opened the shop, I was able to get hair care products and skin care products. I was happy. But like I said, I know I'm ranting, going back and forth, jumping back and forth, because it's just popping in my head. When it goes back to stereotypes in movies, there's a lot of people, like, if they just meet me, especially if they're younger, instead of saying hello or how are you, they say, "Hey man," or "What's up man," because they think that's the way to greet. And so a lot of times I have to correct that. And then that's not even talking about, the N-word. A lot of them, because of the misconception from watching movies and everything, they automatically think that's something cool to say rather than what it really is. And a lot of times I have to educate or correct and tell them my take on it, and then tell them, if you say this around certain other people, you might, get beat up or get in an argument or something. So therefore, those things like that I have to correct. Other things, is just, like I said, little misconceptions. Like I said, with them thinking that every black person can play basketball, or every black person can dance or perform. Yeah, That's my dog. And, you know, little things like that. And so being here, I've considered myself an unofficial ambassador because, like, anything that I do that's negative, it kind of gets looked at on all black people that people meet after. Anything that's positive, also, you know, it's a positivity thing. And me being in hip hop, the city I've been here in this city for 13 years. So I've actually had the opportunity to be in clubs and everything for a long time. And a lot of the people who were teenagers and kids or in their 20s when I first got here, they're older now and they remember me. I'm like the old school hip hop guy that everyone, you know, base their standards on. So as far as hip hop, so I've gotten to actually like being an unofficial ambassador for how they look at black people. So when something bad happens that happens to me, it seems like all black people are like that. If something good happens, they generalize all black people are like that. So it's kind of it's a catch-22. But overall, you know, I'm still here, so obviously I like it here. Also, when it comes to social interactions, I get a lot of people who are just curious, whether it's old people, young people, kids, especially kids and old people. I have a policy, you know, if you're over 50 or 45, 50, if you're over that age, or if you're under 15, I give you a pass on a lot of things because when you're that young, you're too young to know any better, and if you're that old, you've earned the right to just be you, and most likely you haven't experienced meeting a foreigner yet. Anything in between, you've had ample access to the internet and other things and movies where you could at least educate yourself somewhat. And it's funny because little kids are very curious and also very honest. Old people who are curious, they're very polite, you know, especially old ladies. I like talking to old ladies. They're very curious about what you do, why you're here, how long you've been here, do you have kids, that kind of thing. But yeah, the hair thing really, I keep going back to the hair thing mainly because it's such a big part of, I guess, my identity here. Most people in this city, there's a lot of foreigners with the name Sam. I'm known as Sam with the dreadlocks. There's a 7-foot tall basketball coach here, or teacher, coach, I guess, at the basketball academy they have here, where he's tall Sam. There's a guy who's been here longer than me. He's from England. He's drummer Sam. There's a couple females here that were named Sam. I've known a whole slew of Sams that have been here and gone. And so I'm the guy with dreadlocks. And I've actually had people, you know, they want to touch my hair. And I know in the U.S. it's a big thing where, you know, especially with black people, there's a thing going back to all the way back to slavery and segregation, where white people would put their hands and rub a black kid's hair for good luck, or just put their hands in his hair because our hair is different. And there's a negative connotation that goes with that. Here in China, it's genuine curiosity a lot of times because they don't see hair like this up close. And a lot of times when people ask me if my hair is real or not, they expect me to say, oh yeah, it's fake. And when I tell them it's real, they're amazed and they say, oh, can I see? And they're like, wow, it is hair. And they're amazed. And so it got to the point where I actually had 2 shirts made up. They were identical. And in English and Chinese, it says, my hair is real, please don't touch. You know, and it said it in English and Chinese. And people laugh when they see those shirts. But I've actually made a lot of acquaintances and friends, Chinese friends, based just on having this hair. And it's funny because people, they're like, wow, they think it's cool. And to me, I'm just like, it's just my hair. You know, we take it for granted, and I've seen something that happens. I see a lot of, like right now, there's a lot of Chinese kids that have dreads. I'm not saying it's because of me. I know I've had some influence on that, but there's also a lot of people who've had dreads anyway because they, just from popular pop culture. Like the two most famous celebrities in the world to me, and it's just proven just from being here because Chinese people know them. Michael Jackson and Bob Marley. Everybody loves Bob Marley. And in China, reggae is very popular, especially in this city. And is even more popular among the ethnic minorities, which if you didn't know, China has like 60-something different ethnic minorities. And they all look different. I've seen Chinese people who don't look like what you see on the movies or on TV, but there are different ethnic minorities. And there's one particularly in this area. This province has the most diverse group of ethnic minorities in China. And there's a group called the Wa people, or the Wadzu. And they get dark, almost as dark as black people. Matter of fact, I've seen some as dark as me. And the Wa are known for having long hair, men and women. And there's a friend of mine who is the lead singer of a popular reggae band here, and I can't make this up. Well, I'm not gonna go there. Never mind. That's something else I shouldn't put on camera. Anyway, he was the lead singer of a reggae group here, a very popular group, and his dreads are longer than mine. His skin just as dark as mine. And if you were to see him just walking down the street in the U.S., you'd probably think he was black until he opened his mouth and started speaking. And even if you were Chinese, unless you recognize his dialect, you probably wouldn't know what he was saying, because just like in other countries with different dialects, China has so many, by region and by ethnic minorities, different dialects. Like every region has their own way of speaking, not just Mandarin Chinese. So it's a little twist on it. Every area, it sounds different. Plus, you have ethnic minorities that have their own language that sound nothing like Chinese, and you're like, what? Yeah. So it's just real educational just living here without even trying to learn. You learn stuff. And being black, I've gotten a big education on how people see us, not just people, foreigners. I see how they see foreigners. I see how they see people from the U.S. I see how they see black people from the U.S., how they see white people. I see the differences. For example, when I first got here, I taught English for a little bit. But I quit because mainly a lot of the parents don't know the difference between, like, they don't, if the parents have never really studied English, when they send their kids off to learn different languages, the ones who send their kids to learn English, they figure, like I said, when they first see you, they think all black people are from Africa. So there's no way I could be a native speaker, even though we know Obama. They know Obama is from the U.S., but they still don't put two and two together. And so it's hard for me to get a teaching job to say, hey, I'm a native speaker. But they're like, you're black. I'm like, but I'm from the U.S. I grew up with this language. Meanwhile, people from France, Ukraine, Russia, anywhere where they have a strong dialect or accent, and they can still get a job teaching English, but it's harder for me. So there's, like I said, there's pluses and minuses, pros and cons of being a black foreigner here. I've dealt with both, and I'm still here. So next time I talk to you, I'm gonna talk to you about Chinese New Year, which starts later this week, I think, or next week. And Chinese New Year lasts about 7 days, but that's for the next video. This is your boy MDA the Blacksmith, aka the Beast of some of y'all's name. I'm Sam. I messed that up, but it don't matter. You know what I'm gonna say. If you want me to talk about any subject matter that you're curious about, let me know in the comments below. If you anything you're curious about China, maybe I can film it. Put it in the comments below. Hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because that helps me with my YouTube analytics. Helps me get more people. They put my video out more. And that's it for right now. Love y'all. Peace.